Hello, I'd like to introduce another chef member of the Polo team for our cooking series. This is Chef Andrew. Chef Andrew trained at the Greenbrier Resort under a very close and dear colleague and friend of mine. Classically trained, and he's the senior chef of the restaurants. So today he's going to share with you something you may or may not want to make at home, but it's a lot easier than it looks, very delicious. He's going to do a very special stuffed flank steak, something that we have done occasionally on our carvery station, and hope you enjoy your time with Chef Andrew.
Hi, I'm Chef Andrew. I'm the Senior Director of Restaurants here at the Polo Club. And today I'm going to prepare for you a stuffed flank steak. First, you want to take your flank steak, you want to clean it, you want to trim it. As you can see here, I have a piece that I've taken, that I've trimmed, that I've cleaned. And we're going to take this and we're going to butterfly it. So let me show you how we do that. So you're just going to want to take it and after it's cleaned and nicely put together, we're going to take it and we're going to butterfly it. So you just want to place it on your cutting board, take a sharp knife, and you're just going to go right down the middle, nice and slow. And you just want to make sure you do an even job as you go through. You know, you don't really want holes or anything like that in it. And you're going to go about almost to the end there. And then we're going to lay it out. And then we're going to take some plastic wrap. You know, you can get this the grocery store. Obviously, we have it in bulk here at the club. But you just want to simply cover your flank steak. And then you're going to take a meat mallet, or if you have a, you can also use a rolling pin or something. And we just want to pound this to about a 1/2 inch thick. So I'm going to do that now and kind of show you, and then we're going to get to the fun part and we're going to stuff it. So you just simply work the mallet back and forth. Sorry for the loudness, but you just want to make sure, you know, you're evenly pounding out the flank steak. You want to make a nice smooth base for you to do your stuffing and then to roll it. So we're just going to simply work it evenly back and forth. It's about, you'd like to get it about a 1/2 inch thick. So by butterflying it, it makes the process a lot easier. So now you have your flank steak, which is pounded out nicely. And then what we like to do is we're going to take some salt. We're going to take some pepper. And we just want to season this really nice. And we're going to take a second, rub this in a little bit. Then you want to take a little olive oil. We want to hit it with a little olive oil for some nice seasoning. Then we're going to do the same thing on the reverse side. So we're going to take salt again, a little pepper, some more olive oil. And then what you want to do is you want to rub that in as well. And then we're going to flip it back over and we're going to work from this side. So the next part is we're going to make basically like a sauce to help hold our ingredients together as we tie it together. So I'm going to take a bowl here. I'm going to take some Dijon mustard. I'm going to take some tomato paste, a little Worcestershire sauce, and we're going to mix this together. You just want to get a nice smooth consistency. Yes, in the process you will cook out the tomato paste. Tomato paste can be very bitter if you don't cook that out, so you don't need to worry about that. We will be cooking that out in the process. So you just want to kind of get like a nice smooth sauce texture, and then we're going to take it to the flank steak. So you just want to take it and spread it nice and evenly on your flank steak. And you just want to coat every bit of it there. Make sure everything's covered. Obviously you can tell I didn't spread it very thick. You want it nice and thin. Now we're gonna take some fresh chopped garlic and we're gonna spread that out. We're gonna take some shallots, finely chopped. You don't want to overpower it, but you just want a nice even layer. As we go along here, you'll see that everything I do is nice and evenly layered. So we're gonna take some fresh herbs, gonna take some chopped parsley, and we're gonna do the same thing. I've also chopped some thyme and some rosemary, and we're gonna add that. Now, if you're doing this at home, you can take really any ingredient that you'd like or you enjoy at home, and you can stuff this. So we're really doing today as kind of a classical stuffing. But like I said, if you would prefer something else, by any means, you can pretty much stuff it with anything. So after we've done this, we're gonna take some spinach, which I've rough chopped here, and we're gonna do the same thing. So we're basically just creating layers of flavor as we go about here. So we're gonna add some nice chopped spinach. Just make sure it's evenly spread. We're gonna take some Parmesan cheese, grated, and you just wanna do the same thing. I know what you're thinking at home. You're like, oh, this looks great. You know, you're creating layers, but it's just building on layers and layers of flavor is essentially what we're doing. So we're gonna take some fresh mozzarella cheese and we're gonna stuff this in there as well. We're gonna take some Italian breadcrumb. This will help bind it together a little bit, and it'll also add that nice flavor to that as well. So we're gonna do that. And then I'm gonna finish with boiled eggs, chopped. We're gonna put those in there. And then to give it a little bite, we're gonna add some bayonet carrots. And then what we're gonna do now is we're gonna take it and we're gonna roll it. So what you wanna do is you wanna press it really well, and then you're gonna start on this side, and we're just gonna simply roll it over. Now, yes, I know what you're thinking. Some of the stuffings may fall out, and it may fall out. So, but you just wanna keep it nice and tight, and you just wanna roll it over until you have your finished product right here. And now I'm gonna show you how to tie it, and then we're gonna cook it, make a pan sauce, and basically create a dinner. So let me do this for you and we'll go from there. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna take butcher's twine, and you can get this at your local supermarket, Publix, wherever, and we're gonna tie the beef. So as you can see there, you can see kind of all the beautiful stuffing inside there. And now I'm gonna teach you a technique of how to tie your beef. You can do this with a tenderloin, with anything else at home too. If you just want that nice consistency, the even cook, you know, we like to tie things here. So what you wanna do is you wanna take the end of your butcher's twine and you wanna come around, and we're gonna form a loop. It's kind of hard for you to see the loop, but we're gonna take this end piece here and we're gonna go through the loop we create. And then what this is gonna allow us to do is to make sure that the beef is tied tight the way we want it here at the end. So you make that loop and you're gonna come down through, and then when you have it where you want it, we're just gonna go back through and we're gonna tie it again, just to make sure it's tight and the way you want it. Okay, now what you do now is you roll it in your hand and you go back over and you create a loop. See how nice and tight that is, consistent, And we're gonna keep doing that the whole way down. So we're just gonna make a loop again, go back down, make another loop, come back down. And then, like I said, you can do this with anything at home. You can, you know, tenderloin, any steak that you just really, you know, want that nice consistency with. So we're gonna make another loop, and we're just gonna repeat this process all the way down. And one more time. And then when you get down here at the end, what we want to do is we want to take the string and we want to measure back the distance of the product here, right? The tenderloin. And we're just going to go ahead and cut that string. Now, you want to flip it over, and you're going to work backwards with the string. So we're going to loop it through here. And pull. Loop it through here. And pull. And then you're just going to repeat this all the way back down. And what this does is this just creates a real nice tightness to it. It's going to hold obviously everything that we've stuffed it with together, and it's just gonna create just a wonderful product here. So when you come down to the end, what we're going to do is we're going to take it, and there's a reason we left this nice and long here, and you're just going to simply pull it, not too tight, but you just want to pull it, and then we're just going to tie a little knot. And then you're going to want to remove the excess string. And there you have a tied, stuffed flank steak roulade. Now, let me show you how to cook it. Okay, so now that we have this beautifully tied flank steak, what we're going to do is we're going to prepare now to make the sauce and to make the rest of the meal. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some olive oil. We're going to place it in a saute pan or a large skillet. We like to use cast iron here, but if you have a large skillet at home, that'll work as well. So what I've done is I've just taken some olive oil, just enough to coat the bottom of the pan. We're going to let that get hot. As that's doing that, I'm going to come over here to the other pan. We're going to add some more olive oil. And what I've done is I've taken some potatoes. You can take Red Bliss potatoes, you know, Idaho potatoes, any really kind of potatoes you'd like that you have available at home. And we're gonna saute those, and then we're gonna add them to our dish here at the end. So we're just gonna wait for this to get hot. You can see it's starting to get hot. So we're gonna add the rolled roulade to the pan. And what we're gonna do now is, to help the process of cooking, is we're gonna add a classic thing that we as chefs like to do, and it's basically a fond. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take some whole butter, and we're just gonna add some whole butter to the pan. We're gonna take some whole cloves of garlic, add that to the pan. We're gonna take some large diced shallots, and we're gonna add those. And we're going to take some fresh thyme and some fresh rosemary. We're just going to add this to the pan. Now what this is doing is this is just going to enhance all the flavors that we've already added to this dish. And what we're going to do now is we're just going to sear this, and we're going to get some beautiful color. So now what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start taking the butter, and I'm going to start slowly basting it over the roulade we've made. And what this is doing is this is just helping incorporate more flavor. It's really just bringing the whole dish, you know, together. You know, we've worked really hard today on tying it and incorporating all those wonderful flavors inside. And now, you know, comes the fun part where we put it all together to create a wonderful meal. So we're just, as you can see, I'm just taking that butter from the pan and we're just basting that over, you know, as well as it's searing. So you just want to kind of check it, get that nice, beautiful golden brown on it, and we want to just keep rotating it and turning it as we go. And this process is going to take probably about, you know, 5 to 10 minutes to do it properly. Remember, we're not cooking it here. We're just, you know, adding flavor by doing this. So you just want to keep simply doing this. Keep rotating it and basting it with butter. You know, as you can tell, you can smell the rosemary and thyme, you know, and it's just, this is just going to be a wonderful dish. So you can kind of see here how it's starting to get golden brown and beautiful on top. And we're just going to keep lovingly basting this, you know, until you just really get the nice consistency and the color that you want to the dish. So as this is cooking, what I've done here is I've taken fingerling potato, or Yukon potatoes, and we're just gonna take it here to the pan that I have hot oil in, and we're just gonna put them flesh side down. What I've done with these potatoes, I've cut them in half. So we're just gonna put them flesh side down, and we're just gonna get some color on them. So as you can see here, I have our potatoes working. Now, while the potatoes are working, I'm gonna essentially do the same thing. So I'm gonna take a little butter, whole butter, add some butter. I'm gonna take a little salt, a little pepper. I'm gonna take some fresh herbs, some chopped parsley, some nice thyme and rosemary. And we're just gonna let those cook. You can see here the nice color and texture we're getting here on the beef, and you just want to keep basting that nice and just keep incorporating flavors. So you just want to make sure your potatoes are cooking nice and even over here. Again, we aren't fully cooking the potatoes, but we're just, you know, adding flavor, incorporating you know, more profile to the dish we're doing. So we're just gonna take this here, keep this roulade working, keep basting, and this, like I said, this process will take about 5 to 10 minutes. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna take a roasting pan, and we're going to place the roulade into the roasting pan. So we're just gonna take this and we're gonna place it in the roasting pan. And then what I'm gonna do from here is I'm gonna come back to the pan and I'm gonna add some white wine to basically deglaze the pan and take some of that flavor from the bottom of the pan. And now we're gonna make our pan sauce for our dish. So what I have today is I have some demi, which we've made. Now you can use beef stock from the store, or they do sell demi at the store as well. And what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna add this demi and we're gonna make a beautiful pan sauce for our beef dish today. We're gonna turn the heat down. You don't want it to work too hard, but we're just gonna incorporate that demi or your beef stock or whatnot to what we have here in the pan. And we're just gonna let this cook out a little bit. So now, let's go back to our potatoes. So you can see, they aren't fully cooked, but you've got just some nice flavor added there. And we're gonna take those and we're gonna put those right in the pan as well with the roulade. So now, coming back to our pan sauce, our beautiful pan sauce we're making, and you can see, we've taken all the flavor that we've cooked in this pan, and we've just made it so nice. So it's, you know, you can do this with anything you do really with the pan sauce. You know, if you have chicken stock at home, if you're doing a chicken dish, you know, you can use the fond that I've shown you today, and you can incorporate chicken stock, and you can make a beautiful sauce that way too. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna take this sauce that we've made, and I'm just gonna layer it right onto the dish and the potatoes. So we're gonna take all that, and we're just gonna put that in there, and then now we're gonna cook it. So we're gonna take this, put it in a preheated 350-degree oven, and we're gonna let it cook. This process will take, depending on your oven, it'll take probably 30 to 40 minutes. Okay, so now that we've taken about 30 minutes, we're gonna take this out of the oven. And as you can see, we have a beautiful stuffed flank steak roulade. So you just want to kind of work it around in the sauces there. And then you're going to want to let this rest for about 15 to 20 minutes before you slice. And then we're going to come back and we'll show you how to plate it up. So now what I'm doing is I'm just removing the butcher's twine. So just take some scissors or a knife, and you just want to remove that now. So now that I've removed all the butcher's twine, we're essentially ready to plate our dish today. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take it and we're just gonna start slicing it. So you just wanna make sure you have a really sharp knife, and you just wanna, you can cut it to whatever portion size you prefer. But at the end, this is gonna be the product we have today. And like I said, again, you can stuff this with anything you have at home. You know, if you're just feeling the urge to cook a little, you know, you can, this is a dish that's very flexible. You can really stuff it with anything you'd like, or whatnot. So now we'll go back, and we've got all the stuff in our pan here. So we've got our potatoes, which have cooked very nicely in our pan sauce. And we're just gonna go back here and add those potatoes to our dish. And then if you want to do, you can take your sauce from the pan, and we're just gonna place some back onto the flank steak. So this is our stuffed flank steak roulade with roasted potatoes. I hope you enjoyed this today. I enjoyed being here today to do this for you, and I hope you're all staying safe out there. Take care.